Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Jurassic Park podcast YouTube channel. You join me today and we are going to be playing some Jurassic World Evolution together. So I've already recorded this gameplay footage for you guys, but I thought I would commentate over it. So this is the very beginning of the game, similar to the demo that Steve, James and myself got to play at Frontier's offices, and we start off on none other than Isla Matanceros.
May I say welcome?
So Isla
My name is
Matanceros
Dr.
is
Ian
the first of
Malcolm.
the 5 deaths.
You may have heard of me.
It is a beautiful island,
correction,
and
you
as
should
we
have heard
come
of me,
into the loading
especially
screen,
now that
I
we're
am
here.
going to let
So
Jeff
before you are
Goldblum
the
take it away
islands
for you guys.
that you need to manage, if you can. The 5 deaths. Jeez, if only there had been 5. Okay, this is as good a place as any to begin. Isla Matanceros. It's relatively stable. Yeah, you can get your feet wet here, and you should, because diving into the deep end of the pool is where the big, angry, hungry things are, and you want to be ready before you try that.
I'm Cabot Finch, Public Relations and Crisis Management, and I'm here to help you. You'll start by building a Hammond Creation Lab.
Okay, so as you can see, Cabot Finch is instructing us to build a Hammond Creation Lab. You guys would have seen this before. All of this is really the kind of demo gameplay that Frontier were giving to content creators such as ourselves when we visited the offices, people at live events, all that kind of stuff. So I know you guys would rather I don't talk over the dialogue here, but chances are you guys have seen all of this stuff before, so I would actually like to talk a little bit over it and about the beginning of the game. So the beginning of the game works really, really well in terms of explaining to you some of the fundamentals of Jurassic World Evolution. It explores how you build different things, the ways power and park paths work, so that people can access the different areas of your path. Park even, oh my god, getting those two words confused already. We're off to a great start, guys. And also the importance of things like ranger accessibility in the form of gates for your enclosures and things like that. So the beginning of the game, obviously you already have the Struthiomimus, which is very similar to the Gallimimus, a really, really cool dinosaur and a herbivore, which is nice, and you know, you don't get thrown in at the deep end, you don't have to contain some kind of vicious carnivore straight away. And I absolutely love the Struthiomimus. It's grown on me. It reminds me a lot of kind of a turkey. And I really love, I think later on in this particular gameplay that we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, I end up with 4 Struthiomimuses at one point in the same paddock, and it's just really, really fun having kind of whole paddock filled with these guys because they are absolutely adorable. And I would actually really like to put a gyrosphere or something in once I've got that developed and researched those skills, because I would really like to recreate something similar to the Gallimimus Valley that we see in Jurassic World, but perhaps with Struthiomimus instead. It's a really cool dinosaur and it's a really fun one to start off with. Beginning the gameplay there, as you'll have seen in that menu a moment ago as well, we've got dinosaurs like Ceratosaurus, Triceratops, and also Edmontosaurus, who we can work towards unlocking. So again, it works very much in the same core fundamental principles that that initial test gameplay that you'll have seen has. Now here we have Finch introducing the 3 sections, and as you will see in a moment, just like when I was at Frontier, this time I decided to go down the security path. I was a massive fan of the Asset Containment Unit in Jurassic World. I thought they were really cool, so I'm quite interested to see where the security unit will take us with George Lambert in this gameplay.
This is Lambert, head of security.
So I'll let Lambert give you guys the briefing.
And mine. Welcome to the islands. So here's our basic conundrum. We want to keep our animals under control while simultaneously encouraging instinctive behaviors, because these animals have potential as combatants. Look, everyone's fear object, myself included, is to have these animals running free and loose in the park. But we can't exploit them globally without taking some chances.
And it's really fun seeing Evolution pulling on potential film threads, as you can see there, by talking about the idea of weaponizing our dinosaurs. That's something which I think is really cool. I really appreciate it. And I like how Evolution has little hints to the directions that our Jurassic stories might be going in the future. It's really, really cool. As you can see at this point in the game, we're 5 minutes in, we still have Cabot Finch guiding us, which is really, really useful. Once you do the tutorial once, you're kind of really there, you don't need to worry about forgetting anything. I have found, especially on this final build, that the controls are still incredibly intuitive and it's really, really fun to play. So you can see here I'm just looking around, I'm a little bit taken in by all my buildings, to be honest. It's always quite cool seeing the number of buildings you have gradually expanding. And here we have finally got our expedition centre. So you can see this is obviously the way in which you access all your different fossils, and I'm looking into them, and I think here I am not going to go with Huangosaurus, or however you pronounce it. I believe I am going to go with Edmontosaurus, yes. So as you can see, when we get the security contract come in, our mission here is to acquire 50% genome for the Edmontosaurus, so that is what I decide I'm going to do. I'm going to go and get some Edmontosaurus DNA and really begin to progress with this contract. Now, you don't have to do the contracts, and that's one thing I really like. You could go through the game without doing any contracts whatsoever, but they are incredibly beneficial in giving you more money.
As you can imagine, the animals in the various facilities are constantly probing for weaknesses in our security systems.
And I absolutely love the different skeletons in the pieces of rock here. We've got what looks like Parasaurolophus, Triceratops, and a couple of carnivores, possibly Dilophosaur on the left, which just look really cool. It's a really nice graphical choice by Frontier. And there is something, I get why people say obviously you do have to do fossils a lot, but once you kind of get into the groove of, okay, my expedition's back, let's send a new one out, it really doesn't detract from the game that much at all, and it's a nice way of keeping a consistent stream of income. So say for example you make a mistake, you invest in something before you're ready to, really damages your income and you're struggling to build it back up. There are definitely opportunities to use the fossil system to make some money back and actually then go and perhaps invest in something else that's going to put you in better standing. Here I start to put in a technique which Rich taught us when we were at the Frontier offices, and I absolutely love this technique. It worked really well when I was doing the gameplay demo, so I thought, do you know what, for my actual gameplay I want to use this technique as well. And this is the idea of putting in a holding pen, so sharing a Hammond creation lab between different enclosures, and then having a holding pen which essentially allows you to put different types of dinosaurs into different paddocks. So in this case I'm going to split the big paddock in two, just like I did in my original gameplay, and kind of divide the dinosaurs into different groups that I think my park guests might be interested in. So this is a really, really cool technique. I really appreciate Rich sharing this with us actually. It's been a lot of fun using it, and it just allows you to make better use of that Hammond Creation Lab. They are an expensive investment. They're $400,000 to put one into your park, so if you can perhaps breed different dinosaurs for different enclosures from the same creation centre, that is obviously beneficial and it saves you money. And one thing I have considered, and I might toy with later in the series if we continue this, is using transport helicopters to perhaps transport dinosaurs from one closed off breeding area into their respective enclosures. I think that could again be a good way of saving money and still adding new dinosaurs to the park, so that is definitely another technique that I would really like to try. So here obviously you can see I am finishing up splitting the enclosure. We just have to stop because the Struthiomimus runs right over to where I'm building, goes away, so I'm able to now finish off the fence. And just like that, that initial paddock that you're given is split into two, ready for two separate groups of dinosaurs. You can see I noticed the land is quite bumpy, so I go into the terrain tools, and although limited, the terrain tools are really useful in just allowing you to even out your ground and really make a good space which you can do a lot of stuff with, because some of the buildings are dependent on the ground spacing in order to place things down so that they are obviously accessible, especially when it comes to some of the larger buildings like the hotel. So, as you can see, we're just smoothing down some of the ground. I think at this point I realise I need to actually put some feeders into the enclosure, so I proceed to begin to put some feeders in, as you can see. And then we go back to hatch some more Struthiomimuses to join their friend. And transferring over to the fossil centre, obviously fantastic opportunity to get some more genomes, get that Edmontosaurus to complete the security contract. And again, as you can see, pieces of skin and other components are also great opportunities to sell things to make some additional revenue. So here again, getting into the routine of sending out expeditions, getting them ready to go. Okay, and you can see the paddock itself, the design works really well. We're going to let the Struthiomimus out, as you can see on screen, and we have just got the Edmontosaurus fireball.
Okay.
So, simply open the gate to direct the dinosaur into the paddock you want it to go into, and as you can see, the Struthiomimus is away into its brand new paddock, which is fantastic. At the same time, now the Edmontosaurus is being unlocked, my ACU security mission continues to expand, so I need to construct an ACU centre. Now you want to make sure you have one of these on every building, because the ACU are the guys who are going to deal with your dinosaurs should they break out. Now, your ranger teams do have tranquilizer weapons as well, but it is much easier to direct the helicopter to deal with threats quickly and to avoid your park rating being affected heavily should a dinosaur break out. So you can see I begin to construct the ACU centre. This is my first one on the building.
The research center
On the island, on Matanceros, and I then proceed to go into the research option. Now, one thing I really like is research is a fantastic venture to pursue because it can essentially really cut down your costs. So a prime example would be with a power station. You can avoid having to construct a new power station by opting to upgrade your existing power station instead, which can be really useful. So you can see here I proceed to do as many upgrades as possible. I really want to kind of look into all the different upgrades that are available, see what I can get, what it allows me to do, because ideally I want to max out these upgrades and moving forward onto other islands such as Muerta. I can never pronounce that properly, Muerta. But anyway, so moving forward onto those islands I'll be better prepared, and I'll already have everything maxed out that can be maxed out. Okay, so you can see I decide to get the Edmontosaurus ready to go, and I am then advised that the path is not connected. So the game is really good at notifying you if paths aren't connected or power isn't connected to your buildings. You get little icons to determine what's got a problem, so it's really easy to kind of go away and sort that out, which is nice to see. And you can see as I proceed to head back to the fossil centre, I uncover some of my Edmontosaurus fossils, and here I was really extracting as much DNA as possible. At this point I had $1 million, I wasn't too concerned about money, so I was focusing on trying to get a really pure genome. But obviously in the game, as you kind of lose money and you might become more desperate, your priorities do tend to shift. So I think later on in the game, when I was playing this particular session, which is going to be split into a couple of videos, I did actually end up selling off some of my DNA because I needed the money basically. And here we have the only dinosaur I bothered naming, called Struthy, because you can see guys, I am super imaginative. So the Edmontosaurus is doing nicely, it's cooking away. ACU Centre is up and running, we've got a transport team as well. All good to go, everything is looking golden. And you can see I go back into the research menu, but I again decide not to do anything. Now I really wanted to take a look at some of the finer texturing within the game, and you'll see at different points I do look at different things just because it all looks really nice and crisp. I think this was me trying to get a better look at those Jurassic World gates. Okay, so our Edmontosaurus is ready to release. And as you can see, an absolutely
Dua.
beautiful dino.
This
You
is our
guys
new
have seen this
Director
one
of
before in my
Operations.
other gameplay
I'm
from the
aware,
Frontier
Cabot.
offices,
I'm Dr.
but you
Dua.
still feel
I
a
run the
sense of
science division
awe
of our
and a sense of
operation.
wonder every time the dinosaurs
You're
come
going
out
to need
because
to
of the
build
way they're
your
introduced.
reputation
It's
in the
really well
science
done and I
division.
really like
Not
it.
easy with me around, but you'll manage.
So again,
That means
directing
managing
my
our
herbivores
dinosaur
all into
population,
one paddock,
seeing
I
that they
open
are
the gate to
flourishing.
get the Edmontosaurus to go through, and I decide it needs a friend as well. And then I proceed to hatch another Struthiomimus as well. This time I was a little bit more sporadic with my spending. I was like, no, I want more dinosaurs, I'm going to have them. And I also again continued to try and pursue that pure genome. Okay, so you can see I've just done the power upgrade for my power station, which is going to be incredibly useful. And now I am proceeding to send out my expedition team again. There is no rest for the wicked. Okay, and my first dinosaur has failed to incubate. Now this is something which you can combat by obviously getting a purer genomes, or alternatively upgrading your Hammond Creation Lab. In this case, I think later on I decided to go down the upgrade route, just because I thought I would try and cut a corner there. Whether it pays off or not, we'll see in the long run as I continue to progress with the game. And we have Owen here as well. So here I'm now applying that upgrade to my power station. And the way the upgrade system works is really, really nice. Different buildings have a different amount of upgrades. At the ranger station, for example, you can upgrade, I think it's like 5 upgrades at a time, but other buildings take less upgrades. I really like the system as a whole though. It's quite encouraging to be able to contribute extra money to your existing structures as opposed to building new structures, to really be able to get the most out of what you've already got in your park. So we can see I've got a couple of Struthiomimuses and my Edmontosaurus all nice and happy. And I think we are going to head off back to the fossil centre. Nothing yet though, so we are going to proceed down instead. And coming back, I decided to take a look at my Edmontosaurus because it's a security objective. It's happy, it's healthy, it's looking good. And yeah, this is kind of a moment where I'm just again taking everything in. You'll see a lot of this in my gameplays because I really like to appreciate everything that's going on in the game world. Here I think, do you know what, I'm going to clear some space, I'm going to prepare something so if I need to build anything here it's all good to go. And now my Edmontosaurus again ready to hatch, get it going in the background. It's coming out slowly but surely, and I get ready to open the gate for it. Again, I really appreciate Rich sharing this tactic of his. It's absolutely fantastic and it's made my experience of the game so much easier, which has been really fun. Of course you guys might have other tactics you want to use, like airlifting your dinosaurs everywhere, having a separate contained hatchery that's in like a non-publicly accessible area. It is entirely up to you and how you want to go about creating things, essentially. So we can see my second Edmontosaurus is happy as well, which is what we like to see. Okay, so at this point I decided it would be a good idea to perhaps clean some space here. Before I go ahead and clean that space though, I realised that actually I need to have an access route for a ranger team put in. And it is around this point that I actually realise I haven't purchased my ranger team yet, something which is important because without them I can't resupply my food. So I start to realise that actually going forwards I need to focus on earning enough money to actually put a ranger team into action. Okay guys, so that's kind of going to bring this first episode to a close as we just check out some more upgrades. I hope you've enjoyed this Jurassic World Evolution gameplay. We've got some more to come, and if you want to keep seeing Jurassic World Evolution gameplay with me here on the Jurassic Park podcast, just let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to record as I play the game. Thanks guys, take care, and I'll catch you in the next part.